All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey kids, Ed Downs here, and welcome to our kickoff call for Local Niche Blueprints. Basically, we still have some people coming on here, so I'm just going to ask a few questions of the audience here while we're waiting for people to come on, and then we'll get started. And today, we're just going to be basically talking about the program, answering any questions, setting expectations. Next week is when we actually start the Module 1, just so that everybody's clear on that. This is really just the kickoff to get really everybody on the same page and get everybody starting to take some action now. So I see, let's see, a bunch of people on here. See Brett, Brian, Cassandra, hey, can you put me back in the driver's seat there? I'm not sure what happened. Everything shut down on me.
Oh yeah, you should be okay now.
All right, let me. It just says panelists. Can you make me organizer? There we go. Let's start. Are we live? Looks like we are live. Okay, good. Thanks for the feedback there, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what it is. If anybody has ever had this problem, please tell me how to fix this. Every once in a while, I'll be on a webinar, and all of a sudden it logs me out to the login screen, and then when I log back in, it opens up all kinds of random files. It's really weird, and it cuts everything off. So anyway, I apologize in advance if that happens again. I don't know what causes it, and it just randomly happens every once in a while. And it's only with GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar. So yes, Arena just reminded me, make sure you hit record. So I'm recording. Wade, are you recording?
Sure am.
All right, so I'm here. My name's Ed Downs through this coaching process. We got Wade up in the control booth. Wade's our support guy that is going to be helping you anytime you guys have a problem. You'll be reaching out to Wade through Nitro Support. He's also, we do double recording, so we both record these calls because every once in a while something like what just happened will happen and the recordings get messed up. So everybody give a virtual high five to Wade up there in the control booth, if you don't mind. Make him feel some love from the group. I see a lot of people, a lot of familiar faces, or names I should say, and more people coming on right now. So I see Brett, Brian, bunch of Davids, Arena. We just talked the other day. That was great. James, I just talked to you this morning. Good to see you. Let's see, Mark. Let's see, Mark Schreiber. I'm going to be talking to you very soon. You are on my list of people to get back to. Let's see, Michael, Nancy, Marcia, Kurt, Karen, Anita, Patrikrem, Rick, Rizwan, Robert, Scott Meadows. We talk frequently. He's one of my students. That's awesome. Sean, Steve, William. We got a great group here. So I'm always interested in knowing where people are joining us from. The last group we took through this, we had people as far away as Australia that were huddled in the basement on the phone call so they wouldn't wake their family up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've had people in Africa. We've had people in the UK, Canada, Hawaii. So if you wouldn't mind, just let me know. Type in the box there. I'd love to hear where you guys are connecting from. So let's see. We got New Orleans. It's not New Orleans. It's New Orleans, right? We got Brian from New Orleans. We got Scott Meadows from South Carolina, Greenville. Let's see. You have to forgive me if I do mispronounce your name. I hope that when you hop on live and we talk one-on-one, that you'll correct me if I mispronounce your name. Okay, I'm notorious for that. I'm a horrible speller, and I'm even a worse pronouncer of names. So in Phoenix, I think it's Juanita. I could be wrong, but hopefully I got that right. And then we have Arena from Jacksonville, Florida. We have Sean from Santa Rosa. Rizwan, oh, London. There we go. So far, you're the farthest away. David from California, Huntington Beach. Nancy from Oregon. And we have Rick living in the United Arab Emirates. Home is USA. Wow, we got people all over the globe. Marcia, Illinois. Darren, Canada. Let's see, I'm Connecticut, but I'm from Thailand originally. I'll go back there next year. This Patikarn. I will learn how to pronounce that name. Brett from Pennsylvania. Kurt from New York City. Cassandra from Columbia, South Carolina. So that's very cool. So we got people from all over the place. I'm so excited. Every time I do this, it gets better and better. You guys have the benefit of me having had a few iterations of this process and sort of by accident through necessity and on demand, improving it as time goes on. And anybody that knows me, which I see a lot of familiar names there, you know me that I will take imperfect action because I'm an action taker, and then I correct things and fix things as I go. And I'm always testing new things and trying new things out. And when I find that they work, or if I find a little modification gets a better result, then I roll that into everything else, and I share that with you folks. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be quite an adventure, over the next 12 weeks as we go through this process. Remember, this is not a info product, so the expectations that you have need to be set accordingly. This is a coaching program where you will have material to consume each week. You will have an opportunity to implement that. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions on the group call, and then each one of you will have an opportunity to have a one-on-one call with me during the 12 weeks. So it's either troubleshoot something, to get unstuck from an issue, but you'll have that one-on-one call with me, and so you can decide to use that whenever you want. You can use it if you get stuck on something. You can use it to talk about strategy or advanced topics, and go that route. So if you want to do that, some people just don't take me up on it, but I think it's a really good opportunity for us to get to know each other and talk about some advanced topics. The way the weekly group coaching calls go, it's not like a typical webinar where you'll just hear me talking and I'll read questions over the air. Each one of you that wants to raise your hand will have an opportunity to come on the call live with me, and we will have a conversation until any issues or questions you have are done and resolved, and then we move on to the next person. So it's like a round robin of, and we go until all the questions are done. So it's not one of those things where I'm just reading questions randomly from a chat box and then answering them. You actually have your opportunity to raise your hand, the little hand wave thing, and ask your questions, and we have a conversation until you're satisfied that you've got a direction to go in. It's much more intimate, more personal, much better way to do coaching, and you'll love it. And sometimes you'll have your hand raised, and the person before you or two people before you will ask the same question. So sometimes you might have to unraise your hand and think of another question, or hopefully you've prepared, you've watched the exercises, you've started the homework, and you come to the class with actual questions prepared ahead of time, so that you have specific action items that you want to work through. So whatever your style is, I can work around it, but that's going to be the most productive. So let's see. All right. So David asks, I'll go through a couple of these questions, but you guys, we're going to do the live thing today too. You'll have a chance to ask live questions. But David asks, how many people are in this group, these grouping calls? Just to let you know, this group that's coming through right now is only 30 people. So we keep the group small on purpose. We want to have a much higher level of service for you, so it's not hundreds of people or thousands of people like you'd get on a product launch. This is a coaching program. It's very small, very intimate. We all move through it together at the same pace. I know some of you are going to be asking to get materials ahead of time so you can move faster. Don't ask, because you won't get. I've tried that with a couple of people in the past, and it came back to bite me every single time, all 3 times that I allowed somebody to move ahead faster. They skipped around. They selectively picked which modules they were going to do exercises for. As soon as they heard that there was done-for-you materials, they immediately didn't want to do any of the other previous work to learn about the niche that they were going to be serving. It came back to bite them, so I don't do that anymore. So don't even ask. We're going to be releasing the materials each week in a very specific and structured order. We do that on purpose. It's by design. That's where we see the most success from everybody. So let's go over a little bit of housekeeping items. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody on taking the first step to exploding your business this year. Hands down, this business model will make you more successful if you implement it and take action than anything else I'm aware of right now. But again, the active ingredient there is you taking action. So we had people last session that took massive action, and then by the 4th week, we're already getting appointments with clients. And that's massive action. And we also had other people that have gone through this process that get stalled, and you hear from them 6 months later, and they're ready to start back up again. So people are people, and life happens. People get busy, but hopefully this type of structure will allow you to keep moving forward, and I'll show you what that structure is going to look like. It's pretty cool. We've changed it. We've added a little bit of accountability and have specific milestones for each module that you need to accomplish, so it keeps you focused. The people that go through this program, it's a very small, select group of people, and we are repositioning our businesses so that we are true value providers for the markets we serve. We are getting away from being a commoditized service provider running around competing on price, and we are repositioning ourselves to be a sales and marketing and operations business partner. It's almost like them having a whole marketing department but not having to have them be full-time employees under their roof, and to the point where when they receive marketing materials, when your clients are going to be receiving marketing materials like my clients do, they show them to me. Say, hey, look what these people sent us. So all you folks out there that are sending marketing materials to my clients, they're just forwarding that stuff to me and asking what my opinion is. So I become a gatekeeper for my clients, and then I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. You're going to be ahead of the curve. A lot of folks are going to be left behind as the industry continues to change. We're going to, as we go through this, we've come through an innovation period, right? And now it's going to stabilize. The whole market is going to stabilize, and the market is saturating, right? It means that there's a lot of people out there competing for the same business. And what happens is it forces people to compete on price. Now, once that happens and services start becoming commodities, then you go through one more innovation phase, which we're doing right here. This course is basically positioning you to ride that next innovation phase. And as you ride that next innovation phase, you're going to be positioned wonderfully for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years from now. We're going to go through the next growth phase in business, which is consolidation. All right? Every industry in history goes through these same phases. It's just automatic. Whether you're selling apples or internet marketing or bicycle tires, every business goes through these same series of metamorphoses, if you will. And the next one is going to be consolidation. That's where big fish start eating small fish, right? And you want to be positioned well to either grow and become one of those big fish, or look awfully yummy to those bigger fish. So when they come around looking for which little fish they want to eat, they're going to pick you, and they're going to line your pocket with money when they do that. So that's what we're doing here. In case you haven't already, make sure you register and get in the Facebook group. Okay, it's www.facebook.com/local niche blueprint, which is all one word. It's a very active group. You have the benefit of going through and seeing questions that were asked by previous folks that have gone through this process. I'm in there, at least every other day, if not every day. Kevin Wilkie is in there at least every day or every other day. Wade gets in there a lot. I mean, we're in there looking for opportunities to answer questions or add additional value to what's going on there. And you'd be amazed that some people will take concepts that they're learning here and evolve them even further. In fact, some of the tools that you guys are going to be using in some of these modules are tools that previous students took, improved, and then gave them back to us and said, here, share this with the rest of the folks. So this program evolves through peer interaction as well, which is really awesome. So make sure you get in there, facebook.com/local niche blueprint, okay? As far as connecting with me, right, I want to get to know each and every one of you, so connect with Ed, socialize with Ed. So, of course, it's facebook.com/eddowns. So send me a friend request. Send me a professional request at LinkedIn. So linkedin.com/in/eddowns. You can send me something to Twitter, but I don't think I've looked at Twitter in like a year and a half. So I have an account, but I don't use it. It's there. But the first two, I'm pretty active in those, Facebook and LinkedIn, and it's just basically those resources /eddowns. Or you could go to eddowns.com and subscribe straight to my newsletter. Right? I do a newsletter every week or two. I send an electronic newsletter, talks about local marketing and cool things, observations, techniques, things like that. So that's pretty cool. So you can go to eddowns.com and sign up for that. And also, I wrote a book that is targeted towards you guys, people that want to grow a local marketing agency and want to build a business doing that. And it's called Make a Living, Make a Life, How to Build Your Bread and Butter Local Marketing Business. And you can get that at localprofitacademy.com. That's localprofitacademy.com. And it's free. You can go to Amazon and buy it if you want. I think it's like, 12 or 14 bucks, but I'll give you a free copy if you just go and request it. So that's connecting with me. That's really the best ways. Oh, and by the way, when you subscribe to eddowns.com, the thank you that you get has all my contact info, including my cell phone. Just don't abuse it, please. Use it, but don't abuse it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Obviously, you are registered for the group coaching webinar series, so I won't, drill that down because you wouldn't be on this call if you weren't. So if you're on this call now, you've already done that. Awesome. Glad you're on here. One thing we did this time that we haven't done in the past is we went and manually added everybody to the webinar list, because in the past we had people that were new and said, oh, I didn't see where to sign up, and they would miss this first call where we go over where to sign up, and it just was one of those conundrums. So we just automatically put you in that list now when you come on board. So welcome to that. So let's talk about the course outline, and then we'll look at the calendar. So we have basically 8 modules, right? And the modules are delivered over a 12-week period, and I'm going to show you what that is and why that is in a second. Some of the modules just take longer to implement than others. So module 1 is niche selection. So some of you have already, picked a niche, and that's fine, or you're planning on going with the done-for-you niches. I still challenge you to go through this process and challenge your niche, because you might actually find a niche that would be more profitable for you. And you're not going to find that out unless you go through the exercise. This exercise, a lot of folks have gone through, and we've fine-tuned it over time. It works. It really works well as far as picking your niche. And if you already have a niche in mind, challenge yourself, right? And one of the first exercises, it has you take 3 niches that you're interested in, and then do a little bit of exploration on each of those to see which one's the most profitable. And you could have 3 niches that you love. They're all that you love, but one will emerge as the one that's going to make the most sense. It's going to be, one of the exercises shows you whether they're responsive, whether they're responsive or not, whether they're accessible or not. You guys there? Can you hear me? Wade, can you hear me?
You're good.
Can you make me owner again? It looks like I'm connected twice now.
Yeah.
Not sure what's going on.
All right, let me do it now.
Okay, this is really crazy. I'm going to use my other computer next time. Yes, do not disturb. Thank you. And I think I lost my slides. Let me see if I can. I had made some changes, and I doubt they got saved. The show must go on.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I apologize. Wait, are you recording still?
Yes, this is still being recorded, and
Okay,
looks
good.
like your organizer now.
All right, we might just have to chop out that section of deadness.
Right.
Let me ask you this: can you see my screen right now, or should I?
No, I just see the
All right, let me
the welcome screen there.
do this. Hey, we keep going, right? No matter what happens, keep on shoveling through. All right, so we have. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. All right, kids. Well, sorry about that. It's just, I guess, a byproduct of technology. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm They call me the Nutty Professor or the Mad Scientist because this stuff always happens to me. Anyway, so like I was saying, we're going to go through the niche selection process in Module 1, and I just challenge you to go through that process, even if you already have a preconceived notion. I've had students that come in knowing what niche they want completely, and after going through that process, pick a different one because it's gonna make them more money. And some of the best niches I've seen are niches that no one would think about. So that's why on the done for you niches we have a wide variety. We have the real popular ones that everybody likes to jump on. We also have a few in there that are a little under the radar. And hopefully somebody will take advantage of those because those are little gold mines, in my opinion. So anyway, so then that's module number 2. We're going to then go and look at the pain points, right? So the emotional triggers of why somebody would work with you, what keeps them up at night, right? And we're going to discover that, and there's a few exercises there. A couple things that does. One, it allows you to start to get to know the industry, learn their lingo, the way they refer to things, even start to get to know a few business owners in that during that process while you're discovering the pain points. Pretty cool stuff. Then we're going to go into Module 3 where we start designing and preparing the sales funnel. So when we're doing that, we're going to be taking those pain points that we discovered and we're going to be inserting those into the templates that we have for the sales funnel. When I say sales funnel, we're going to be building that out with a landing page, a follow-up email sequence, and also a free report. And those things are going to be targeted to the specific pain points within your specific niche. And we're going to go through that process in detail. And hopefully you will have gone through the exercise. You will truly understand what the pain points are for your niche and not just rely on the generic ones that are in the templates. I again challenge you to go above and beyond because the ones that really follow the instructions, do the exercise, are the ones that are making the most money right now, hands down. So then in Module 4, we're going to take those pieces that you've now edited and we're going to build the actual sales funnel. We actually start putting the sales funnel together. And then Module 4, that's when you get the 12 done for you niches, is at Module 4 when it's time to assemble the funnel. And the reason we release it in Module 4 is because we want people to go through Modules 1, 2, and 3 first, understand the process, and have gone through the exercises. We found that when we released the done for you niches earlier, people were getting lazy and skipping, and then they were not completing the whole program. And if you don't complete the program, you're not going to get the big clients. So plain and simple. So we release those done for you niches in Module 4 when it's time to put the funnel together. Then we put the whole funnel together and test it. That's really exciting because you get to see how that funnel works when somebody comes to the landing page. They want that free report. They give you their first name and email address. They get the free report, then they start getting the series of follow-up emails over the next 30 to 60 days, and they get invites for webinars, and they get offers for books and things like that from you. Really cool stuff that we're going to be customizing and setting up for your business. Then in Module 5, we're going to talk about service definitions. What services do you specifically want to provide for your clients to solve the specific pain points that you found in their niche? Right? So this is going to be different for every niche. The services definition, the services that you package together, there's going to be some that are always going to be the same for no matter what niche you're in. But there truly are differences in the services that you offer. There's some services that just don't make any sense for some niches. And so we're going to talk about that and mapping those service definitions to those pain points within your niche. So you're specifically using a specific tool to solve a specific problem. It'll help get you away from that constant struggle where you're just always, there we go, where you're just always buying tools just in case you might need to use that tool or that course someday. You better buy it because it looks pretty shiny. Well, now you're going to have a different mindset. Now you're going to look in terms of your niche and their pain points. What tools do I need for those pain points? And you're going to learn to ignore everything else because it's irrelevant. You don't need it, right? You're running a business, not a hobby. If you want to run a hobby, that's fine. It's an awfully expensive hobby. go and buy all the stuff and just become one of those people that just likes to buy stuff and learn and all that. That's fine too. But if you want to run a true business, then you want to only be buying the tools you need when you need them, right? So you're going to learn all about that. Lead generation. So then we're gonna feed the funnel, right? Feed the beast. We're going to build the beast, then feed the beast, and we're going to drive traffic in there. We're going to test it out. We're going to see which emails and which pain points your niche market is responding to and which ones they're not. And we might change the order of the emails or switch things up a little bit, and that's called tuning the funnel. Sometimes we don't need to. Sometimes it makes sense. We'll see that. We'll see how to do that. Then the next thing, which is probably one of my favorite parts, probably the most important part of this whole program, Module 7. That's using strategy sessions to sell. It's like paint by numbers sales, where you just basically figure out what their pain points are. You map them to one of the 6 areas of excellence that we talked about on the original webinar. Remember, traffic, capture, nurture, convert, maximize, and analyze. And I'm going to drill these into your head, so don't worry about them right now. I mean, we're talking, way down in Module 7, so you don't even need to worry about it right now. But that's selling a strategy session. It's so collaborative. It's such a consultative sale that it doesn't even feel salesy to you or the prospect. In fact, the sales meeting itself just feels like your first consulting session together. And at the end of that, it doesn't feel like you're closing a sale. It feels like you're just basically scheduling your next coaching session together. And it's really, really cool. And then Module 8, we'll talk about client management. So basically how to onboard a new client, how to manage that relationship with the client, how often are you going to meet with them, what reports are you going to provide to them, all that stuff. What are the expectations of how much time they have to put in, and it's going to be different for each business. You're going to build your business the way you want to build it, but you do need to keep those things in mind. So let's look at the calendar. So remember, we've put these into modules instead of weeks because it is 8 modules delivered over it's 8 modules delivered over a 12-week period. And I see a typo right here, so we're going to change that to that, and yeah, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why that was out of order like that, because after these we need time to assimilate that information and get it ready to put into the funnel. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So today we got the kickoff. Next week we're going to talk about Module 1, because by then you'll have had time to go through Module 1 and start that process, and then by then you will have questions pertaining to Module 1. Now each week we're going to talk about whatever was discussed on that module. We're going to stay focused on niche selection on Module 1. We're going to stay focused on researching the pain points for the niche in Module 2. Now the catch-up weeks we're still going to have, even though it's not a module release, we're still going to have a call, and during those calls you can ask whatever you want. You can that's sort of a open office hours, right? Where you can really ask anything you want about the modules, even outside of how this all relates to other things as well. Module 3, we're just going to talk about editing the materials. Module 4, just about building the funnel. 5, just about the services. Then catch-up week on 7, you can talk about anything you want. So all good stuff. And then we even get into Module 7. We might do a hangout, or if enough people are interested, where we do strategy session and role-playing. Depends on how many people, because I think we have a limit on how many panelists we can have on a hangout call. But we could always do it on one of these calls as well. And then Module 8, operations, and then we have a wrap-up call, sort of like a graduation and next steps and all that fun stuff. And remember, there's really some very fundamental milestones here. Pick your niche, discover the pain points, edit the funnel materials, build the funnel, define your services, feed the funnel, do your strategy session, get your clients on board. That's it. I mean, it's really basic. It looks like a lot over a 12-week period, but really each module has one objective. We've sort of chunked it down that way. And so at the end of each module, you should spend maybe an hour or two on each module, right? More if you need it, but it's really to watch the videos, do the homework, and attend the call. You're looking at 2.5 hours total to really get it done. Don't overthink it. If you need to talk about, some of the people get really hung up on niche selection, and then other people get hung up on the building the funnel because they get worried about the technology. Well, the cool thing is we have a package code, and we'll explain this later, that allows you to, if you sign up for a SendPepper account, which is basically just like a Aweber on steroids, just amazing autoresponder software that we use. You can paste that package code into your account, and it'll build the funnel for you. So that's kind of cool. We'll introduce all of that later in Module 4. Let's see. So support, right? So if you need any kind of support, tech support, you're going to go to support@nitrosupport.com, and Wade will take good care of you. If it's a general question about implementation, try the Facebook group because it's going to be a very active group. It's a great place to ask questions. It's not a place to go and complain. If you have a complaint, you come directly to me or you go directly to Wade. That's it. If you're complaining in the Facebook group, I'm going to delete it because I don't want that to be a negative, poisoned environment. I'll delete it, and if you do it again, I'll boot you out of the group. So just keep that in mind. We want that to be a positive, nurturing environment for everybody. We don't want it to become a sewing circle where everybody just sits there and complains and does not implement. This is an implementation coaching program. So we're all going to help each other keep moving forward. And if you have a specific problem or grievance or anything you're unhappy with, you come directly to me, and I'll take care of it, right? Or Wade. Wade's on top of everything. Wade will take care of it. Either one of us. That's the appropriate way to deal with that. So anyway, so we've got through that. Let's go and open up to some questions. So who wants to raise their hand and hop on and ask some questions about what's going to happen over the next 12 weeks, the next 3 months? So you can see there's a little button that has a palm of a hand on it. If you click that, it'll raise your hand and I can bring you on live. Sometimes these first calls are pretty quiet because nobody's really started implementing anything yet, and that's fine. But if no one wants to do any of the hand raising, then I'll go next to the question box and people can type in questions. Sometimes one thing I noticed with the last group, there was a few people that were at work and doing this sort of on the side, so they were not in a place where they could really talk, but they could type in their questions. So that that'll be the case with some of you. Some of you will be in an environment where it's either too loud for the call or you have to be quiet because you're in either your kids are asleep in the next room or you're at the workplace or whatever the situation might be. So I'm not seeing anybody raise their hand. So I'm going to go to the question box and we'll go through those. Let's see. Let's see. Arena says, where can we find the 12 niches included in the program, or do we have to choose them from a list of Module 1? Actually, Arena, you get to have all 12 of the niches. Actually, it's going to be 13 niches, and we're actually in the process of doing another 12. So by the time we roll this program out again in a few months, there'll be 24 or 25 done for you niches. The goal is to eventually have 100, and we're just going to keep rolling them out, and as we roll them out, we'll make them available to you. But those will be available as soon as Module 4 opens up. You get those, and we hold those back till Module 4 so that you have to go through the Modules 1, 2, and 3 first. And even if you already know you're going to pick one of those niches, that's fine. I still want you to go through the exercises and do the homework so that you just not only reinforce that you've made the correct niche selection, but also that you start learning about that niche. Because what happens, a lot of folks will pick a niche they know nothing about, and they'll go out there and start trying to talk to that niche, and the niche will see that a mile away that they have no idea anything about their niche. And it happens all too often. But by doing these steps, you're going to know enough about that niche that you can talk the talk, walk the walk, and not set off any red flags with your prospects. Let's see. Michael Hughes says, "What is your email for connecting on LinkedIn?" Here, let me give you everybody my personal email. All right, you can use it, but don't abuse it. All right, I'd love to hear from each and every one of you, even if it's just to say hi or ask a quick question, or if something you think I might be interested in taking a look at. Just let's use this as an opportunity to get to know each other. So I'm going to send to all. You're going to find this is different, a lot different than probably most of the other experiences you've had. This is not a product launch. This is truly a coaching program. Okay, so we sent that, and David says, "This seems to be an exact recap of the module we've already gone through on the website." Yes, David. So you already have access to Module 1, which actually starts next week. This is a kickoff where I just basically go through the overview again, and make sure that you have everything you need there, and then you can ask live questions, and that way we make sure everybody's on the same page. Because some of you members signed up 2 weeks ago and have had time to look at Module 1. Some of you just signed up this morning. So just keep that in mind. We got to basically level the playing field, get everybody on the same page so we can all move forward together. So, those of you that did sign up a week ago, you need to be patient because Module 1's next week, and we'll get through it. Believe me, this stuff is well worth waiting for, and you're just cheating yourself if you don't go through each and every morsel and consume it. Let's see. Karen says, "When is the local sales automation tools released?" Wade, when is that supposed to be released to them? Do you recall what Kevin said or what we did with the last group? Is that like right away, or is it like a few weeks in, or?
Oh yeah, that's supposed to be a bonus that's available to anybody who had signed up, and usually a welcome email was sent out. I forget exactly how many number of days it was sent out, but let me double check on that. And if for whatever reason she didn't get it, or anybody doesn't get it, you can simply drop us an email, support@nitrosupport.com, and I'll make sure you have access to that right away.
Yeah, it could just be that it hasn't been sent out yet.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But just in case there's,
I can't imagine that it would be sent out at the same time they're starting this, because that would be ultra overwhelming. It's probably something like that really makes sense to go out module 4 or 5. But I mean, I will have to ask Kevin. He's sort of the architect of releasing material and all that, and we just follow his lead. But we'll find out the answer to that. Okay. Hey Ed, I cannot get the Facebook to come up. Let's see. So facebook.com/local niche blueprint. Is anybody else having trouble with that? Or you could just search in the search box for local niche blueprint as well for that. Let's see. Sherry. Hey, Sherry. How are you? We just spoke. How many weeks will it take before we're competent to take on clients? It depends on how quickly you move, how quickly you take action. So we had a couple people in the last group that were having strategy sessions, by scheduled by week 4 and executing by week 5, where they're actually meeting with the clients, and then onboarding the clients week 6. So it's just a matter of how much action you take. There'll be some people that are chomping at the bit, can't wait for the next module to be released, begging us to release modules early. But then there's going to be other people that will get 2-3 weeks behind, and that's why we have those catch-up weeks. Let's see, David. I know a lot of marketers use Infusionsoft. Can you explain the difference between SendPepper and Infusionsoft? They're very similar. I have used both. I was an Infusionsoft user since 2008, so many years. And I just got rid of my Infusionsoft account recently and chose to move forward with SendPepper because it's easier to use, it's less expensive, it has a lot of the functionality you have to pay extra for with Infusionsoft is just included, like creating member sites and some of the shopping cart functionality and some of the integrations with webinar automation, things like that, is just natively there. So plus, one of the deciding factors is the fact that I can create content and push it into your account was desirable. And on top of that, the fact that Infusionsoft charges $2,000 up front as a setup fee makes it really difficult for a lot of people starting businesses to justify that cost, whereas in SendPepper does not require that upfront cost. So just some food for thought. I think they're both great systems. A lot of people have gone through this process, implemented it into Infusionsoft. They just had to basically copy and paste all the materials by hand themselves into the Infusionsoft software. That's the only advantage we really hear of using the SendPepper software, is that we can actually push all of these campaigns into your account instantly, so you don't have to go and create or build or copy and paste any of that stuff. So we've had Infusionsoft users that will just go and get a SendPepper account just because of that alone, and they say, I don't mind having two. It's all a matter how you want to run your business. Steve says, what are the niches? Wade, do you have the list of niches handy? Because I do not have it in front of me. I had everything open, ready to go, but when my system crashed, I had to reboot. So I would have to go digging for that. Any idea?
Yeah, no, I don't have those in front of me.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm gonna just get rid of my screen here for a second and go on a bug hunt. Well, there we have it. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? All right, I'm going to assume that you can. All right, so we have three categories: professional niches, consumer niches, and health and medical niches. So under professional niches, we have accounting, legal, financial planning, and architecture. Under consumer niches, we have plumbing, transportation, pawn shop, and landscaping. Under health and medical, we have laser eye, chiropractic, dental, and weight loss. So those are the niches, and I'll paste these right into the chat box for you, for everybody to enjoy. Awesome. So there you have it. Yeah, there was another person who asked that, so now you all have it. Will the reports and webinars be included in the done-for-you niches? Okay, so each niche has a free report and a email follow-up sequence. It has the email follow-up sequence for report delivery, has the email follow-up sequence for the 30-day sequence, it has the email sequence for doing your monthly live webinar, and it has the email sequence for book offer. It does not provide the actual webinar or the webinar content. You're going to have to come up with that yourself each month, or subscribe to a service that'll do that for you. But yeah, the free report templates, the email follow-up sequence, all of that, and also in the done for you, if you do the SendPepper route, even the landing pages and web forms are all done as well. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah, those 12 niches, there's a lot there. You guys are getting a lot of stuff. Let's see. The local niche blueprint is a 404 page. All right, hold on. Let me see what I find. Um, oh, it's under groups and then local niche blueprints. Let me copy and paste that in. So here's the actual Facebook link, and I apologize for that. I should have known that it would be groups in there. There it is. So it's uh, facebook.com/groups/local niche blueprint. So my bad, and I apologize for that. So let's go back over here. There should be groups, localnicheblueprint.com. So let's see. Brett says, can you run through your exclusivity policies? I'm assuming, Brett, that you're talking, when you say exclusivity policies, about not having a conflict of interest with multiple clients. So my exclusivity is at the keyword level. So if there's like 30 hot keywords for dentists in Clearwater, Florida, I'm going to only allow the use of that keyword for one client. So on a first come, first served basis, the clients can grab those keywords, and whoever acts first can get the ones that have the highest traffic and the lowest competition, the lowest, the higher click-through rates and things like that. So the ones that are last are going to get the scraps. So it sort of also creates a little bit of scarcity as well. But that's how I do my exclusivity. Other folks will just basically say, I'm only going to do one plumber per major city. Some people do 5-mile radius. That's kind of hard to do when you're working with SEO stuff. So I do it like on a keyword basis. Nancy says, good to know that I'm not behind. Yeah, Nancy, that's why we did it this way. It's not like a typical info product where you get the content and you can start going through the whole thing. And this is the type of thing where we have this staging week where we get everybody on the same page, and then we move through as a class, an actual coaching class, starting next week with Module 1. Scott says, is there a WordPress site where we'd access the modules? And yes, there is. Let me see if I can find that. So we got so it's local. You'll get an email, Scott, because I know you just got signed up today. But there it is to everybody. So it's localnicheblueprint.com/members. You'll log in there, and you'll be able to go in and the getting started, the training modules, bonusing, outsourcing, and support, all that fun stuff. So there you have it. Rick says, after the 12 weeks, it looks like we'll get a good start. Is there additional support or follow through with the program to take advantage of additional updates? So yeah, we had this discussion this morning in my weekly call with Kevin. We're going to explore and talk about probably over the next week what's next, because we have a class that just finished up, and we've had quite a few of them ask about ongoing coaching. And so we're trying to figure out what would that look like. Would it be one-on-one coaching? Because I can only work with 2 or 3 one-on-one companies at a time personally, just because that's the amount of time I have. So it becomes a little more expensive. We might look at doing something with small group. We might look at some sort of a mastermind, but we're going to talk about that in the coming week, and so we'll have an idea of what that'll look like soon. Because we want to have those that are taking action and kicking butt. We want to keep those folks all together, continuing to do bigger and better things. So Scott's saying, not sure if he received the email. Wait, when you added Scott and James this morning, you sent them out an invite with the login, right? Info for the member site.
Yeah, they should have that. I'll double check in the system.
Okay, if you guys don't see that by this afternoon, then just do a ticket at support@nitrosupport.com, and Wade will be able to take care of you. But yeah, Wade and I talked about that this morning, and it should have gone out already, so you should be good to go. Especially if you got the invites for this webinar, they're probably sent out at the same time. Sherry, do we personally complete each module before our webinar? Should we complete module 1 before module 1 webinar? All right, so here you're going to consume this material whatever way you want, but what I recommend is that you start looking at module 1 this week, so that when we hop on the module 1 call next week, that you have your questions already worked out for module 1. Right, because that call next week is going to be to talk about module 1. So just so we're real clear, maybe I wasn't clear earlier, and so I want to make sure that you guys understand the best way to do this is from today, the kickoff, till next week, a week from today. You should be going through module 1, going through the training materials, taking steps for implementation, and then making a list of questions that you have or anything that you get stuck on. So when we hop on the phone next week, we can go boom, 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 and work those things out for module 1. And then the next week, you'll be module 2, and you'll go through and you do the module 2 stuff, and we'll do the videos, do the homework, and then we hop on that following call and talk about module 2. And then the same with module 3, and then week 4 is the catch-up week, where we will hop on and we can talk about anything, past or present. You can ask questions about the future if you want, but it'll be hard for some people to put that in perspective if they don't know what the materials are going to look like, and we're not going to bring them in early. It'll just be confusing to a lot of folks. So that's how that's going to work, and just take action, do your best, and some of you are going to get stuck, and you're each going to get stuck on different things. So just be prepared for that, and just know that at some point you might get stuck. But that's what we're here for, is to keep you moving along. This is an implementation coaching program, so that's why we're taking everybody through the implementation together, and we want everybody to complete each step. Like the first week, all you have to worry about the first week is picking your niche. That's the only thing you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about what your funnel is going to look like, or what emails you got, or anything else. You just pick your niche, right? You already know what the done-for-you niches are going to be. So if you want to pick one of those niches, great. Your work's already done for module 1. I would still go through the exercise of making sure that it's a viable niche. I mean, of course, we've picked these niches so we know they're viable, but you want that learning process is really, really crucial for you understanding the niche. And then module number 2, all you got to worry about is discovering the pain points for that niche. That's it. That's all you got to worry about. So just keep that in mind. It's very specific. Don't get ahead of it. Don't worry about things outside of what you're focused on that week, and you should move right along. Steve asked, remind me what it is. I'm not sure. Steve, if you could expand on that question, I'd be able to answer it better. I'm really not sure what you're asking, but I'd love to give you an answer for whatever it is you need. Brian says doesn't work. The Facebook, yeah. So we already, I'm these questions I'm running behind on. Okay, better get moving. What about using any of this stuff on current clients? Oh, Steve, what a great question. That's great. So the way I handle it is, after you've gone through this process, when you get to like module 5 or 6, as soon as we start peeling back the layers on doing a strategy session, what I would do is I would send out an email to your existing clients saying, hey, we'd like to offer you a free strategy session to see how things are going with the work we're doing for you right now, and also help you understand some of the other options that are available out there, just from an educational standpoint, and book them on strategy sessions and walk them through the same framework that you're going to walk through everybody else. The traffic, capture, nurture, convert, maximize, and analyze. And if you're just doing SEO for them right now, great. You've already got some of the traffic done in the equation. If you're doing pay-per-click, great. You've got some of that done. Or if let's say you're doing reputation, great. You have that, and we handle that in conversion because that'll help boost conversion rates, right? Is having a good reputation. So I mean, whatever you have them on right now, get them on a strategy session. Build out their portfolio. Become a true consultant with them. That's great question. Let's see. David S. Is SendPepper a full-blown CRM also? It is. It absolutely is. I'm putting huge emphasis on SendPepper in the coming year. In fact, I just about a month ago went out to Santa Barbara and took their week-long certification class, became certified on SendPepper platform. It's actually called Entreport. SendPepper is the light version of their software. But it's a full CRM, customer management. All my customer billing is done there. All the automatic billing and credit card processing. All my automated evergreen webinars are managed from there. All of my webinar registrations, all of my booking and calendar stuff is done there. Autoresponder rules, fulfillment rules, things like that. Landing pages, you can create landing pages right from within SendPepper. So it's a really, really great tool. So let's see. Brett says, SendPepper kicks ass, and it's so much easier to implement than Infusionsoft. Thank you, Brett. Yeah, it really is. And the cool thing is they give you a trial. So yes, you have to pay for it day one, but if you don't like it, you just stop before the trial is up, and they'll refund your money. So it's no risk. But Infusionsoft, I mean, you got to hand them $2,000 before you even start using the software, right? That's just $2,000 just to have the privilege to pay them more money each month to use the software. And they call it a setup fee, and they give you consulting, and they do help you get up and running and all that. And it is a good company, but if you're starting out and you don't want to be knee deep in technology, I would say SendPepper is the way to go, especially with this program, because we can give you the package code and push all 12 of those done for you niches right into your account in a matter of a tenth of a second. All that stuff just comes alive in your account. Landing pages for each niche, web forms for each niche, follow-up email sequences for each niche. All done. Let's see. Ed, I have some dental client meeting in the next 2 and 3 weeks. Is there anything I need to do to prepare? In particular, do I delay the meetings till the training covers those aspects? I used to own a dental business, so I have some insight, but I'm not a dentist. That's a good situation to have. I mean, that's a good problem to have. I mean, we're weeks and weeks and weeks away from doing strategy sessions, but I'd be happy to give you some pointers if you want to schedule a call with me. We can hop on the phone and we can use that call to talk strategy for those meetings, and if you want to do that. So just reach out to me after this. We'll get something on the calendar, and that way, you're positioned well for those meetings. Sean says, I have a follow-up question on SendPepper and have my hand raised. Willing to come on? Okay, well, that's cool. Let's just go check it out. So let's see, where's that hand? There he is. Let me unmute.
Cool.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. I was lost in a sea of hands there. Yeah. So first of all, thanks for doing this. I'm super excited, and the reason I'm so excited about this is that I've been doing local marketing for a while, and the automation process is one of the barriers for me in moving from what I consider like a $500,000 a year business to like $1 million a year business. And I talked to Brian Anderson, who's a friend of mine, about it, and he just said good things about you. And so here I am. And so yeah, I guess getting to my question. I checked in with the SendPepper folks because I am one of the Infusionsoft victims. I'm sorry, I meant to say customers who has been with them for a while, and it's been really collecting dust because it's so complicated that I have really not gotten into it to the level I want. And I'm a technologist by nature, so that's speaking from somebody who's not afraid of technology. It's just not for everybody. But as far as the campaigns that you'll copy over, what I was wondering about is that this whole like sort of Office Autopilot, Entreport, SendPepper division they have, with Office Autopilot being sort of the big brother of SendPepper, and then there's a branding conversion from Office Autopilot over to Entreport, which is the new brand. And I'm just wondering about the migration path. If we are to become, we start with, I'm kind of going from Infusionsoft, I'm kind of going from like the big dog, which I'm canning this week, down to SendPepper. If I want to go through the upgrade path to Entreport, is there any way to carry that over? Because I talked to them and they said, that there's some issues with that. That you can go to Office Autopilot and retain your existing campaigns, but you couldn't go to Entreport. So have you had any experience with that?
So I have. So basically, I have 4 accounts with that company. I have Office Autopilot, and I also have SendPepper. SendPepper is used to really test campaigns before we push them out to you guys. And then I also have an Entreport account, which is their new version. So what it is, the company's called Entreport. They have a product called Office Autopilot, which is their flagship product, and they have a light version of that called SendPepper. And SendPepper has 3 different levels. So what they've done is now they've created a new product called Entreport, which is going to replace Office Autopilot. They're still not sure what they're going to do with SendPepper, but there will be a migration path eventually before they sunset that product. So if you get into SendPepper now, they're not just going to leave you hanging someday. There will be an opportunity for you to move that stuff. And what they're doing is they're migrating people over one at a time to the new platform. But they're doing the easy ones first, because the more complicated ones are just going to take more time, and they want to work the bugs out of the migration process first. So my advice would be go with the SendPepper, use that for a year, and then when they're ready to migrate you, let them migrate you later. That'd be my suggestion. If you need to do shopping cart stuff, even the high level SendPepper, you don't even have to go to Office Autopilot. You can have shopping cart functionality as well as API access without going to the full-fledged Office Autopilot. So you do have options. I would start off with the Habanero level of SendPepper, and there's a link in the members section for you guys for that to go sign up. That's what I'd recommend, because don't spend the money if you don't need to now. Get customers on the books and then upgrade later.
Right. So there's no way to get the campaigns copied directly, and if somebody was to jump ahead to get the full-blown thing like Entreport right now or Office Autopilot, that those campaigns could be copied there. We'd have to do it to SendPepper.
If you have Entreport, I will create a package code in my Entreport account, and so you can load that stuff into your Entreport. So that'll be for anybody that has Entreport. So right now, the package code does not exist for Entreport, but I use these campaigns in my own Entreport account. So I just create a package code out of those, same exact content, and I could do that for you.
That's great. I appreciate that. And I think for most people, the Habanero level is going to be awesome. I'm just going from Infusion, and I just want to make sure I have some feature parity, so it's kind of a specialized situation. But thank you.
And Sean, if you need to have a discussion around that, just send me an email, and we can have a special discussion about that. Now that I have that on the radar, I will make sure that by the time we roll out the package codes, that there's one for you for Entreport.
Great, thanks. Well, I really appreciate the way you're running your business and doing this, and thanks again. I'm looking forward to talking to you next week. Thanks.
Well, and if you get stuck, you guys have my email address now. If you get stuck during the week and you have just a quick question, they can't wait until the live call, feel free to ask. And it might take me, 12 or an hour. 12 hours or a day to get back to you, but I am accessible. That's one thing I want to drive home to everybody, is that I am accessible. It's just sometimes it takes a day or two. So
thanks again.
Awesome. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, so that was cool. So we had our first live phone call victim. So I'm going to go back to the window questions because we don't have anybody else raising their hand. So let's see. All right, so I've got so many messages here about Facebook. I appreciate everybody's helping to troubleshoot that, and but we did find the solution. Let's see. Joseph asks, "Are there videos included?" There's videos in the members area that you can watch to learn about this program. Is that what you're asking, or are you asking are there videos included in the done-for-you marketing stuff? So if you could just elaborate on that, that would be really helpful. Does this program require that we do webinars? No, it certainly does not. If you don't use that particular email sequence, that's fine. You don't have to. But you can. Meaning, do we have to host webinars ourselves or for our clients? Yeah, you can, but you don't have to. Some people don't want to do webinars, and that's fine. Let's see. And I see a few people saying that they have not been added to the Facebook group. I don't have access to the master list of everybody who's signed up, so that's something that Wade or Liz or Linda would have to do, I think. And what they do is once a day they go in there, they see everybody who's requested to be in the group, and then they compare to the list of people that are actual customers, and then let them in. So that there's really nobody getting in there that's not supposed to be there. It's on lockdown. All right, so Nancy asked to remind us about the coaching session with you, how long and how to arrange. Okay, so it's really as long as it takes. I mean, if it takes a couple hours, it takes a couple hours. Usually we allot 45 minutes, but sometimes they go quick. Sometimes they're over in 10 or 15 minutes. It really depends on how much help you need. So let me give you the link for that. Let's see, make sure I type that in right. There you go. So there's where you go to get on my schedule. Let's see, Rick's asking, do you then charge per keyword? If so, do you allow people to buy several keywords? So, Rick, we'll get into that in the services selection. It's I think module 5, I think ish. But yeah, it's hopefully when we take you through this training, you'll start to see things from a different perspective and not just look in terms of keywords and price per keyword and whatnot. I don't have differing prices for different types of keywords. Some people like to price different keywords differently, like as if they're one's worth more than another because it has more traffic or covers a bigger area. I don't get that complicated. I just basically let all the dentists in the geographic area know that I'm talking to them as well as all their competitors, and it's going to be first come first serve on all the good stuff, and they're all going to pay the same. It's just that somebody else might have twice the value, when all is said and done. Will this program help upsell my existing client base? Yes. So Brian, we did talk about that, and we'll talk about that a lot more. As far as taking your existing clientele and offer them a present. Say, hey, I learned some new stuff I want to share with you. I'd love to do a strategy session and book them on a strategy session. And you're just going to walk them through exactly the same step-by-step process. See, Brian says, I have a client in nearly every niche you mentioned already, so wondering how I can offer any new client exclusivity. Well, it's up to you. I mean, you can. I have clients all over the country. I have clients in Dallas, Fort Worth, and up in Vermont, and what you do is you can either have multiple businesses right in your backyard. You can do it nationally. You can do keyword exclusivity. You can have multiple cities in the same broader geographic area. So we'll get into talking a little bit more about that when we get into services definition. Yes, these calls are all recorded so that you'll be able to watch them later and go back and listen to them again. This one's just more general questions, but when we get into the other calls, each one's going to be focused on that module, so it'll be really good. We'll hit the module hard, so if you have to go back and drill down on one module, that coaching call for that week will match up nicely. You won't have to be fast forwarding through things that are unrelated. Let's see, is SendPepper also a CRM tool? Yes, it is. Can you elaborate on picking a niche so we focus on? So niche is there's three different interpretations of a niche in my book. One is a industry vertical market. Another interpretation is a geographic area where you serve multiple industry verticals. And then the third version is a combination. It's serving a specific industry niche in a certain geographic area. So those are three different ways of looking at niche. Niche is not just a business type. That's the way most people think of it. It's a very narrow thought process. You got to expand your mind and say, okay, niche. All niche means is specializing or tighter targeting, right? So when you say niche, you're having a tighter focus or more control over your targeting, and it can be a geographic targeting, it can be industry targeting, or a combination of both. Let's see. SendPepper for billing, yes, and also it will integrate with FreshBooks. Yep. Let's see. Let's see, Mark, you have emails into me for migrating from Entreport, migrating to Entreport. Yeah, so if you're migrating to Entreport, I need to know where you're migrating from. Is you migrating from an external system or you're from SendPepper? So I'm not sure what each one's going to have different challenges. If you're just going from SendPepper or Office Autopilot to Entreport, then you should wait and let their support do that for you. If you're coming from like Aweber or Infusionsoft, then there's a process to export from one system and import into another, which I'd be happy to talk you through. Let's see. Marcia says, will we be able to take full advantage of the package you provide with the $29.95 per month package? Of SendPepper. Well, the $29.95 version does not allow you to do landing pages, so you would have to create your landing pages in a different tool, and you could do that like with leadpages.net or one of those. We cover that in the training. We cover both methods, whether if you want to do the basic version of SendPepper and then utilize leadpages.net and use that combination to build your funnel, or if you want to use the $79 a month version of SendPepper and just have it all in one place. It's up to you, but we cover both in the training. Joe says the video's done for you. So yes, in the landing pages we do have videos on those pages, but I do recommend that at some point you use our resources on Fiverr that we recommend and spend the $5 and have custom videos made for your niche. Yeah, there is very generic done-for-you videos that differentiate between client, customer, or patient, but it doesn't actually mention what type of niche it is. Let's see. All right. Yeah, Mark, for some reason I'm not getting those emails, so we're going to have to figure something else out. If you want to reach out to me afterwards. Actually, you know what? Send your I'm trying to figure it. If you could send your phone number, to no, I'll get it directly from Wade, and then we can talk then. Let's see. So one person asked, are there any people out there that have no clients yet? So if anybody wants to share that information, people are just starting out, because there's a couple people that are just starting out from scratch right now, and there's other people here that have established businesses. So it's a nice mix of a group. Yep, there's about 4, 5, 6, about a half a dozen people that have responded out of the group. So it looks like out of the 30 people we're taking through here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 people, 7 out of 30. So hey, that's pretty good. That means it's going to be a nice mix. We'll have the more advanced people helping along the people that are just starting out, and vice versa. And I don't think you're at any disadvantage whatsoever not having clients. I think it almost works to an advantage, because one problem I've seen with a couple of the people I've worked with in the past is that they're so bogged down by their existing clients that it's really hard for them to find time to take action on this process. And they end up stalling. And it's not anything bad, it's just that they are so bogged down with their current business model, having to serve so many clients in a very custom way, and these low paying clients that are just eating up all their time, that there's no time left to implement. So if you don't have clients, you're going to have the benefit of having a whole lot of time available to implement and take faster action on this process. Let's see, Brett says, I'm on Office Autopilot, so I'll need the other package to install as well. Yeah, okay. Steve says, are you able to refer me to your SEO guy? Yes, when we talk about services, I'm going to mention the vendors that I personally recommend. I have a few ones that some you've heard of, some you haven't, but I'll be sharing those with you, absolutely, including my resources on Fiverr for doing graphics work and videos and free report covers and formatting, things like that. Sean says, one other question. If I started in the 997 3Pay, okay, yeah, and want to do a one-time supplemental payment to turn it into OnePay, can your support help me with that? Yes. Just do a ticket, support@nitrosupport.com. Wade can help you get paid in full. Yeah, so just go ahead and do that. We always like paid in full. It's always a good thing. We're all business owners here, right? Let's see. Oh, Mark's talking about send Pepper to Entreport. Yeah, so Mark, you're going to have to let Entreport make that migration. I made that migration myself, and it wasn't too difficult. What I did is I just exported all my contacts from SendPepper into a Excel sheet or a CSV file, and then just imported them into Entreport. But that's the best you can do. You're not going to bring over any landing pages or emails or anything. That's something that only Entreport support can do. The only thing that we can do on our own is move our contacts over. It'll move over tags, and it'll move over the names of the sequences they're in, but that's about it. That's the best you're going to do. Let's see, Arena. Will we have instruction how and when to open the SendPepper? Yes, we will cover that. Don't worry about that yet. Right? Do not worry about that yet. Remember, the only thing you need to worry about this week is picking a niche. Next week, identifying the pain points of that niche. Then, 3 weeks from now, you can start thinking about SendPepper account, and right there in the members area, there'll be a link you can click on to go ahead and get signed up. So you want to make sure you sign up through our link so that SendPepper support associates you with us. so that they can keep track of problems or challenges that our folks are having and better serve you. And then that way, when you connect with support, the chances are you get somebody that's used to dealing with our stuff. Let's see, Scott says, the codes you'll be pushing out, will they have landing pages made in SendPepper? Yes. So the package code, when you install it, if you have the habanero level or above, it'll install the landing pages. If you do not have that, if you have the whatever the name of it is, whatever that little pepper is, that's the lower version, it will install the landing pages, but you just won't be able to see them because you don't have landing page functionality. Then if you ever upgrade later, all of a sudden those landing pages will just appear out of nowhere. That's how that works. I found that out by accident. But it will get installed. It's just you won't have access to it until you upgrade your account. Now, my recommendation, if you're a current member, is do your upgrade the day after your billing, because you get charged by SendPepper Entreport. They charge you whatever your membership level is the day of your billing. So if you upgrade your billing the day after you just get charged, you get a whole month now at your old rate with the new functionality. Just a little trick. It's just the way their billing is set up. Sean asks, does Entreport integrate with FreshBooks the same way SendPepper does? It does the same way as Office Autopilot does. SendPepper, I don't think, well, the Hive version might, but yeah, it does. What type of inboxing does SendPepper get? I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term. Does that mean deliverability rates? If that's your question, SendPepper, actually Entreport as a company, has some of the highest deliverability rates in the industry, and it's because they have such tight rules on spam. So in other words, the number of bounces you're allowed and hard bounces and complaints is a little bit lower than some other companies will tolerate. So you just have to be careful, extra careful with them, because they will boot you. They'll lock up your account if you get bad scores in their spam. Brian says, what is your favorite landing page creator? I have a few different things I'm playing with. 10-minute pages was great because it was $10 a month for a while, and it does the same thing as lead pages, but they've raised their prices to be equal to lead pages, but they don't have as many templates. So I love leadpages.net. They're just the original. They're so easy to work with. They're not as flexible, but they're so easy to work with. That's what I use probably most of the time. I've tried Unbounce. I've never tried Instapage. I got rid of Unbounce because it doesn't have tight API integration with Office Autopilot or SendPepper or Entreport, and I wanted that tight integration. I want to be able to connect the two accounts and then have a drop-down box that tells me what web form to throw in there, and so that's why I like lead pages. The other ones are great. I think Unbounce is the one that's really, really flexible. You can create some really custom killer pages with it. It just I don't want anything that complicated. I've also been playing around with something called ClickFunnels recently. That's a Brunson product. I still haven't figured that thing out. I'm probably going to get rid of it. I just haven't made a decision yet. But lead pages, I build most of my pages with lead pages. Then I copy the HTML, and then I create a page in my SendPepper account, landing page. It's a code-only landing page, and I paste the code right in there. And it gives me some pretty cool tracking capabilities, from there. So that's my take on that. Let's see. Joseph has an immediate problem. How do I set up a billing system for clients accepting credit cards? Do I just use SendPepper or do I need Stripe? It's a good question. So I have a PayPal account, and that's how I got started. Because I came through bankruptcy and nobody would give me, banks would not even give me a personal checking account for close to a year. So I just did PayPal, and that's, people pay me either in a check, which I would go cash, and then put the money on a prepaid debit card, or I would have them pay me via PayPal. Then, when my credit improved after the bankruptcy, I then got an account, and I signed up, and I got through PowerPay, got a authorized.net account. For the life of me, had so much trouble getting that thing set up. Finally, I went and signed up for Stripe. 5 minutes, up and running, integrates perfectly with SendPepper, processes seamlessly, never had a problem with it. Yeah, the rates might be a little higher, but you know what, for ease of use, that's my combination now. So right now, I'm using Entreport with Stripe, or sort of SendPepper with Stripe. I still have my authorized.net account. They're still deducting the $40 a month fee for having the account, and I haven't used it, haven't a transaction through that yet. So that's probably going to be on the chopping block pretty soon. Now that I've got Stripe, I've had Stripe set up, for a while now, and it's really awesome. I mean, it's just, you can log in there, you can do all kinds of things, set up all kinds of rules, automated billing, monthly billing, recurring billing. So very, very cool stuff. David says, is there a downside to doing the landing pages outside of SendPepper? Yeah, only if you're doing affiliate programs. So the affiliate tracking is the area I've heard people complain about. As far as tracking web page visits and conversions and all the stuff that we like to see, and if people are going back and visiting a page more than once, not a problem. You can get tracking script and put it in the page, or if you put the page in your SendPepper, either way, it'll track. So that's the only thing I've heard, the only complaint I've heard. And I did hear them say that there is a solution coming down the road someday that could either be something that's similar to lead pages that's part of Entreport, or a much tighter, bigger, better integration between lead pages and Entreport. I'm not sure which, but they did hint towards something like that down the road. Let's see. You're also saying to set up billing system, credit card system, lead tracking accounting system, components tie all together into one solution. You can, but you obviously for credit card processing, you need a merchant account of some kind, and there's a whole list of accounts that will natively work with SendPepper, including PayPal. So just something to keep in mind with. But yeah, it manages all that stuff, pretty nicely. Let's see. Why Stripe over PayPal? I don't know. I have both. People can choose which one on my order pages. People can choose which one. PayPal does not allow you to do reoccurring subscription billing. It's my understanding that Stripe does. So that's really the only difference I see. Rick saying, are you saying launch report or Onch report? No, it's Ontraport. Ontraport. Sorry about that. Ontraport. Let's see. To use Stripe with SendPepper, do we need 79 or the 139 version? You would need the 139 version. That's when you first get shopping cart functionality and API access. It's really the only way I can think of for you to do it. The only other way to do it would be, build. If you're just starting out, you could always bill people with. You could have a Stripe account, and just when people enter the credit card info, you would then have to manually process that, log into Stripe and manually process the transaction. Which, if you're starting out, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just an extra step, but certainly doable. Do you set up full agency-style sites or just landing pages in your model? In other words, do we need a full website built in this? You mean for your own company? or for clients. For clients, I don't do full websites anymore. I just it's too subjective, takes too long. I just build landing pages for them. For my company also, I use landing pages, but I do have a main website, but it's very simple. There's really nothing there to it. But you know, you can get a done-for-you website in the resources area of the member site for Local Niche Blueprint. Kevin Wilkie has a done-for-you system where you can just kind of give them the info. They create a beautiful website for you with a video for free, and then you just have to pay, I think it's $10 a month for hosting. It's a really, really good deal. I think we're getting here to the end of the questions. You want to take one or two more and then we'll sign off? One or two last questions anybody has? It's okay if you don't. Brett says, do you create subdomains off your main company website for each niche, or do you roll out? I get an individual domain for each niche I roll out, and we're going to go over that in great detail when we go over the assembly of the niche. Module 4, when we actually put together the actual funnel. We'll go into that in great detail. But I do a different. It just converts better. You're going to get better response rate. I use a different one for each niche. Let's see. Kurt says, I have a sales team wanted to know how do I keep track of their commissions. What I would do if I were you is, set them up as affiliates in your Office Autopilot or SendPepper account. So you set them up as affiliates, figure out how much you're going to pay a percentage on each sale, and then create your packages as products in the system. And then each month, when it's time to pay your affiliates, which is basically your sales reps, it figures out how many sales that are associated with that sales rep took place, or rebills took place, and then it basically will automatically take the money owed to them only on completed transactions, and it'll then put it in sort of a little holding area for you to approve, and then you can push it right into their PayPal account, or you can send them a check. But that's how I would handle it. Just let the system do it. Just treat them as affiliates. Let's see. Joseph says, I need billing, so that means I need Stripe, so that means I need the 139 Pro. That's if you want it all automated, Joseph. You can have a Stripe account in Entreport. It's just that you'll have to do a swivel chair function, is what I call it, where you go from one system to another, because it won't be automatic. So when someone places an order in your system, or they fill out a form online, or they fill out a form and fax it to you, or whatever it is you're doing, you're going to then have to log into Stripe and set them up as a new client. If it's reoccurring billing, set up a reoccurring billing, that type of thing. You can do that manually for now, and then upgrade later. If you want the full-fledged thing, turnkey, running, so that when someone buys a product, a package, because what I do is when I take on a new client, I just basically send an email that says click this link to get signed up, and they click the link. It takes them right to the order page where they put their credit card info in. It already has the package that they've been that they're signing up for there, and then when they sign up, it then sets up so they get billed every month on the same date. It sends them a receipt and all that fun stuff. That's probably I think the best way to go. But so very cool. Well, all right, kids. I think that's going to bring us to the end here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this call. It's typically how it's going to go, but once we get going, your guys will be much more vocal, and usually we have half the people come on live each week and ask their questions, and I'm going to encourage that. But there's some people that just are in an environment where they can't talk, or they're a little shy, maybe. Who cares, right? Whatever your reason is, if you want to type your questions in, you can type your questions in, and it's all good. So anyway, a couple of you are going to reach out to me for various things. so we can keep things moving along. And if you come up with any questions in the meantime before the next call, shoot them out to me, right? Even if you think you already know the answer, or even if you don't think it's an important question, if it's something that you're wondering about, then it's an important question, and it's worth you asking. All right, and I'll never judge anybody for asking a question. In fact, it'll make me respect you more because it means you're taking action and implementing the system. So, anyway, guys, have a great week, and I will talk to you all next week. Bye.